Hey there, welcome back to Chatterbox. This is Audioscapes, weekly stories about psychedelia, lucidity, anxiety, and fear. Today's story comes from one of my best friends, Vinnie. Vinnie is extremely personable, one of the few people I know that can seemingly talk to anyone and befriend them. And as is the case with this story, sometimes that trait can lead to unrequited love. This isn't a story about Vinnie and I, but someone we both mutually know, that for the sake of this story, we will call Mike.
Mike was in our poetry class, so I had poetry 1 and 2 with him. Yeah, it's like he was quiet but had a lot of feeling. When he would read his poems, like they would be pretty, he put a lot of work into it, like it would be pretty heartfelt and emotional. But then, when people would be like, it's like after the critique, you get to say whatever you want. He never had anything to say, so it's like he was very quiet until he actually read. And he had talent, he had a lot of energy, but just kept that very bottled up, and only like a close few people actually kind of got to know him, I guess, with the way his personality worked. Well, I heard a lot about his problems because I was somebody that he could open up to. He was he's just an anxious person in general. Like, I know I helped him move one time, got my dad's truck to bring furniture to his apartment. He always had, really bad financial issues. I think he struggled paying for his car, paying insurance. He had bills in the back end or whatever. So it's like he was never, never a happy person in general in the entire time that I knew him.
Mike was, and probably still is, a very talented writer. I can remember a story he wrote in a fiction class we all took together about a tribe of prehistoric people and their shamanistic pagan rite of passage into adulthood. This is one of the most fascinating things about Mike. He is a witch. And it was something very important to him. Spellcasting, banishing, runes, and even astral projection. Mike was into all of it.
He always had the stones that he rubbed. He would come in, even just with his stones that he's rubbing the entire time during class. Tried to say that he legitimately could have the power to change the weather, but he can't do that because that goes against the universal rules of abusing your magic power. But could. He was capable of that. And he lived very close and had a parking pass, so it would just come out to us hanging out, and then I could park in the garage and he can get me home, get me out of the parking garage with his pass, and we would just pull up to his place, sit, talk for 20 minutes, hour, whatever, just so it was like we would decompress with each other. And we just became close almost in that. That was like our time to hang out, was when I took him home, we sat in the car for a while talking, and then
As Vinnie and Mike bonded, their relationship, at least to Mike, began moving out of the realm of friendship and into that of infatuation.
Yeah, we went there monthly. It was our NKU did the poetry reading at that, I forget the bar's name now, but in Mount Adams. And once a month everybody's hanging out, drinking whatever. We all can go up and read a poem if we want to, and just everybody's feeling good, having a good time. I think he was leaving, and then hugging me goodbye, and then the long weird kiss on the neck was like, okay, but we've had some drinks. Yeah, you're cool, man. Right on. See you later. And then it wasn't even as weird anyway. But then another time, leaving in the car, same deal. Just we had some drinks, feeling good. Kissed me on the cheek, oh, I love you, and and then left or whatever. So didn't think anything of it.
Vinnie was incredibly stressed during this period of his life, between mounting bills, going to school full-time, working a job he despised, and being off-put by a friend that was becoming clingy. It all came to a head.
It's throughout those events, it's not like anything felt like it was becoming more or heavier, but it just kind of all came to a head when he was just like, I really need to talk to you about something. And I was like, I kind of already had a feeling of what it was. But I'm like, what, is something messed up or anything? Is something wrong? Like, no, it'll be fine. And then we just didn't get around to it. Then it was a few weeks later. So it was, I don't even know, there was nothing eventful in the class to know it was this particular class, but same deal. Like, we got in my car, went home. He had told me a week or two before that he needed to talk to me about something. Like I said, I had an inkling of what that was, but I wasn't actually expecting the words. Like, literally just says, I think I'm falling in love with you, and I don't know what to do about it. And like, I was expecting just like, you know, I'm having these feelings about you, I'm not really sure what to do, but to actually straight up go to say, I think I'm falling in love with you, is just, you know, bounds ahead of like where, you know, I feel like a sane, normal person should be thinking, especially in the regard of our relationship or whatever. And, you know, there was nothing I could do or say. I'm just like, all right, what can I do to help you? Like, how do I not need to be around you? How do you not feel this way then? Like, because I'm clearly not one to reciprocate any of these feelings or whatever. And we talked a little bit about it, but it was just like, I tried to be like, you know, cool, man, I don't feel weird or anything, but yeah, you know, I don't feel the same way, so see ya. And then we still like, you know, hung out and saw each other after that, but that was definitely like the solid point of my relationship with him, to where I'm like, you know, I'm good. Like, there's really nothing else I can get out of this relationship without him thinking other things, you know.
While in college, I minored in creative writing. And if there's one thing I took away very quickly during my stint in the English department, it's that a good chunk of the students love to bend the reality of the world around them to fit the drama that would have been better off in some of their stories. With this, the rumor mill surrounding Vinnie and Mike began to rotate.
Yeah, and I remember exactly what he said that they said to him about it, and it still feels weird to me. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, almost stereotypical, like not a stereotype that I wanted to happen, but just that, oh, we're in the English department where, you know, drama's a big thing. Like, people love that in work. Like, you know, drama's a big part of the work you do in literacy, to where it's like, oh, these people actually literally just act like this, and their lives are also, like, you know, have to be drama-filled stories. So with that, like, I don't even remember who all it was at this point. I don't know if he just referred to it as like the group of people and girls that know me and him, but it was like they and him also talking about how he felt about me to other people before I knew about it. Like, even for some reason, I don't know, making him feel better about it, or actually thinking that I was romantically thinking about him, but just like actually said to him, like, the words he used was like, yeah, when I just noticed that you two are hanging out with each other, like, when you move, he moves. And I just didn't get that whatsoever. Like, when you move, he moves. But that's what they said to him, and that's how he felt. Just like, we're always the two of us moving together or something. And that made absolutely no sense to me. In any regard. Yes, exactly. It's they want that. That's what they wanted to see. Therefore, that's what they see. I think, especially from his perspective, like, that's what he wanted to think. So that's what I know. It wasn't a crush. Just knowing him, like, he was straight up in love with me. Just his, like, you know, him having a very emotional personality and romanticizing things was like, yeah, he was in love with me. So it's like, I didn't know about this until after, but before he talked to me about it, like I said, went to our poetry teacher, and, you know, like, she knows both of us. Like, I was very close with her as well, so I talked to her like, I am having these feelings about him. I don't know what to do or say about it. Or she said, nothing you can do, just tell him, just speak your heart. Like, what's the worst that can come out of it? And that's what she said to him. Yes. Like, the only thing you can do is actually tell him and speak your heart. And, like, that, she even knew me, and she knew that I probably wouldn't be interested in it, but she herself was also, like, you know, emotional and romanticized things. I think I'm falling in love with you. That was really weird that I can't really explain.
Vinnie slowly started distancing himself from the circle he was hanging out in on campus, but the stress of the whole situation crept up on him. Not in his daily life. It meandered its way into his dreamscapes.
But so I had a dream maybe 2-3 weeks after he actually had said that he was in love with me. And generally, I smoke a lot of weed, so I don't have a ton of dreams. And it was incredibly vivid to where I thought I was still awake for most of it, but then realized I was laying in my bed while I had it. But in the dream, so our kitchen just kind of goes, from our kitchen goes to a hallway down to 2 bedrooms. And in the dream, I'm laying in the bed and hear footsteps coming from the kitchen, slowly coming down the hallway. And then a figure is clearly the one making the footsteps, comes into my bedroom, still dark, but the light in the hallway is on. So I'm laying there motionless, unable to move, wanting to. And the figure kind of just slowly, one knee on the bed, other knee goes over top of me and just holds me, arms holding my wrists down and just staring at me. And at that point, I actually see that it is him. And I don't know, there was not really a sense of time, but it felt like a good amount of time that I was just in that position, just stuck there, being held down by this figure who turned out to be him, coming and just holding me. It's almost like in remembering it, it's like I know I see his face clearly with his glasses on, but everything neck down was just not like black clothes, but just dark, like shadow person dark. And it was just his head that was so vivid that I could see. After having that dream, it sounded like I was quick to, I talked to some people about it. I wasn't quick to talk to him about it, but in conversation at some point with him a week later or something, I mentioned, oh yeah, I had a really weird, vivid dream where a dark figure was I see my house as it sits, my bedroom, the hallway, and I see a guy coming down, and he gets on top of me and holds me, and it was just really weird. And just his response to that was immediately just oh, well, when I astral project, I see people say they smell this or that, and I don't know, vanilla cinnamon, smell this or that in their house. And I wasn't even on that level of talking about another person actually astro projecting their spirit somewhere, but the fact that his mind went there immediately was and I don't believe in this shit, but it's that scared me right there. Was he actually trying to do some magic weird shit that night that I had the dream or something? So yeah, I don't, it's hard for me, I want to be more spiritual, but I don't necessarily believe in this, magic, and that the white magic and black magic exists, and you can actually practice both, but you're in bad trouble if you practice the bad one or something. But I had sleep paralysis before, but never never ongoing, always just here's an episode, it doesn't happen for a long time. So it's I know what was happening and that it kind of happened to me before, but what was so different about it was dealing with the stress that time of, I'm an anxious person in general anyway. Like you said, I hated my job, going to school, it was a terrible time. But the fact that something like that had happened, which I kind of sort of understood before, but the face of that was him. And that was just a new thing to face in my life. I had never had an outside, I knew what sleep paralysis was. It had happened to me before, but actually the face of my actual stresses, manifesting in that regard was just insane, to where it's I'm still not a believer in magic and stuff, but it was just, that was really weird that I can't really explain.